high upon the windswept plateaus of the Bayan Karaula Mountains, where jagged stone cliffs kiss the heavens and silence cloaks the ancient land like a veil, a mystery as old as time lingers in the shadows. Tibet, a realm of monks and mystics, prayer flags and snow leopards, holds many secrets whispered only by the winds. But none are as haunting, as otherworldly, as the story of the Dropa Stones. What if I told you that in 1938, during a routine expedition into the remote caves of the Chinese-Tibetan border, archaeologists uncovered hundreds of strange, circular stone discs buried beneath layers of dust and time? What if I told you those discs were etched with microscopic hieroglyphs unlike any known language, spiraling into a riddle that spans not centuries, but possibly galaxies? Why do these stones bear an eerie resemblance to records or data discs, yet they predate modern technology by thousands of years? And who, or what, were the Dropa? This is not merely a tale of ancient relics. It is a journey into the fog of forgotten history, where science, myth, and the impossible converge. Some claim the Dropa Stones are relics of a lost civilization. Others whisper that they are the last echoes of an alien crash landing, visitors from the stars stranded in a place too high, too cold, too sacred to forget them. Tonight, we'll descend into the high-altitude caves, brush the dust off controversial archives, and trace the threads of one of the most debated archaeological enigmas of the 20th century. As the veil between fact and fiction begins to thin, ask yourself, what if history as we know it is wrong? It was the spring of 1938. As Europe edged toward chaos and war, far away in the untouched wilderness of the Bayan Karaula mountain range, a Chinese archaeological team, led by Professor Chi-Pu Tay, embarked on an expedition that would spark one of the most bizarre debates in modern history. Their mission seemed simple: survey and document a series of remote, wind-carved caves on the Chinese-Tibetan border. What they found defied every expectation. The caves were unlike any other in the region. Narrow tunnels opened into chambers filled with rows of stone burial mounds. Human skeletons lay inside, but not ordinary human skeletons. These remains were frail, barely 4 feet tall, with unnaturally large skulls and delicate limbs. It was as if they belonged to a different branch of humanity, or something else entirely. But the true enigma lay beside the bodies. Scattered around the burial sites were over 700 stone discs, round, gray, and perfectly shaped. Each one was roughly 30 centimeters in diameter, with a hole drilled through the center, like a vinyl record. But what truly captivated the researchers were the delicate spiral grooves etched into the surface of every disc. So precise, so intricate, they could barely be seen with the naked eye. When examined under magnification, these grooves revealed something utterly shocking: a series of minuscule carved symbols arranged in tight spirals from the outer edge to the center hole. This wasn't art. It was information, writing, or something eerily close to it. What language was this? Who could carve such microscopic inscriptions with such precision, especially in a region untouched by advanced tools for thousands of years? Even stranger, no known culture in the region had ever documented these symbols, and no script in the archaeological record matched the spiral patterns. It was as if the stones had been left behind by a forgotten people, or something not of this earth. At the time, the scientific world turned its back on Chiputay's findings. His reports were dismissed as exaggerated or misinterpreted. Some accused him of fabricating the story. Others whispered that he had uncovered something too controversial to accept. But in the following decades, the legend of the Dropa Stones would only grow, attracting scientists, skeptics, ufologists, and conspiracy theorists alike. Were these discs merely primitive religious artifacts? Or were they something far more extraordinary, records left by beings from another world? The deeper one digs into the Dropa mystery, the more the ground seems to shift beneath their feet. Nearly 2 decades after the initial discovery, the mystery of the Dropa Stones remained buried, both literally and metaphorically. But then, in the early 1960s, a strange and controversial figure emerged from the shadows of academia in Beijing. His name, Dr. Tsum Nui. A linguist with a background in ancient scripts and comparative philology, Tsum Nui was granted rare access to several of the stone discs, which by then had been stored away in a restricted vault at the Beijing Academy of Ancient Studies. Few believed anything meaningful could be extracted from the impossible-to-decipher spiral etchings, but Tsum Nui saw something others had not. Night after night, he pored over the grooves, using magnifying equipment and advanced photographic methods to document and compare every minute detail. Slowly, agonizingly, a pattern began to emerge. The spirals weren't random scratches or decorations. They were systematic, structured. What he unveiled next sent shockwaves through the few circles allowed to see it. According to Tsum Nui, the symbols were part of a previously unknown language, neither Tibetan, Chinese, Sumerian, nor any script known to man. But after years of comparative analysis, he claimed to have cracked the code. And what the discs said was astonishing. The Dropa Stones, he claimed, were not religious icons or calendars, but records of an extraterrestrial crash landing that occurred over 12,000 years ago. According to his translation, a spacecraft from a distant star system had crash-landed in the Bayan Karaula Mountains. The beings aboard were the Dropa, small, fragile, large-headed creatures who could not return to their home. Stranded on Earth, they took refuge in the caves, where they eventually died, or were buried by locals who later revered or feared them. The inscriptions spoke of their sorrow, their attempts to communicate with the native tribes, their struggle to adapt, and ultimately, their deaths in a strange and hostile world. Could it be true? The Chinese scientific establishment responded with swift condemnation. Tsum Nui was reportedly forced to resign and later fled to Japan, where he is said to have died under mysterious circumstances. His work was never officially published in a peer-reviewed journal, and no copies of the full translation have ever been found. To some, this was proof of fraud. To others, it was proof of a cover-up. Why would the authorities suppress a discovery of such magnitude? Did they fear the implications, that humankind was not alone, that our history had been touched, perhaps shaped, by visitors from beyond the stars? The lack of institutional acceptance only added to the mystique. Over the years, stories of Tsum Nui's research grew more elaborate, more whispered. His name became legend, a ghost in the annals of forbidden archaeology. Were the Dropa Stones the final remnants of a crashed alien species? Or was it an elaborate misinterpretation of ancient symbols? One thing was certain: the legend refused to die. As the tale of the Dropa Stones simmered on the fringes of archaeological curiosity, a surprising twist came from an unlikely source: the Soviet Union. In the 1970s, during the height of Cold War secrecy and scientific competition, Soviet researchers reportedly obtained several of the Dropa stones through back channels. What they discovered beneath the stones' ancient surfaces would add yet another layer of enigma. Using early magnetic resonance technology, primitive by today's standards but groundbreaking then, Soviet scientists scanned the disks. To their astonishment, the scans revealed tiny grooves etched not just on the surface, but seemingly embedded within the layers of the stone itself. These grooves formed patterns resembling circuitry, suggesting a level of craftsmanship far beyond what ancient civilizations were believed capable of. But perhaps the most astonishing finding was that the stones appeared to contain traces of magnetic anomalies, peculiar fields that seemed to shift and pulse as if holding some encoded energy or data. Could these have been storage devices? Could these mysterious disks have been, in essence, ancient data carriers? Devices that stored information, messages, or knowledge from a civilization far advanced, possibly extraterrestrial. The Soviets' findings were never officially released, buried deep within classified archives. Yet whispers and leaks hinted at their excitement and their apprehension. If these stones were truly alien technology, what did that mean for human history? For science? Skeptics argue that magnetic anomalies can occur naturally in minerals, and the supposed circuits might be natural fissures or weathering effects misinterpreted by over-enthusiastic observers. After all, the stones are thousands of years old and found in rugged caves. However, the Soviet angle added weight to the legend, fueling conspiracy theories and a global fascination that still lingers. Did ancient visitors leave behind encoded messages carved into stone, waiting to be deciphered? Or was this yet another chapter in a story blending fact with fiction? The quest to unlock the Dropa Stones' secrets had grown deeper and darker, setting the stage for modern explorers and enthusiasts to continue the search. As the story of the Dropa Stones passed from whispered rumors to documented curiosity, modern-day researchers, archaeologists, and enthusiasts took up the challenge to uncover their true nature. Yet, their journey has been anything but straightforward. In the decades following the Soviet revelations, various expeditions ventured to the remote Bayan-Har Mountains, seeking the caves where the stones were said to have been discovered. Despite numerous attempts, many researchers returned empty-handed, finding no trace of the mysterious disks. This absence only deepened the enigma. Were the stones ever real, or were they a fabrication, a myth born of misinterpretations and desire for sensational discoveries? Adding to the intrigue, some artifacts resembling the Dropa Stones surfaced in museums and private collections, but their provenance remained unclear, and many experts questioned their authenticity. Photographs and sketches, often grainy and inconsistent, fueled debates. Were these genuine ancient relics, modern forgeries, or simply misunderstood objects? Skeptics argue that the Dropa Stones story originated from misreadings or exaggerations. Some suggest that the initial reports stemmed from a mistranslation of Chinese texts, while others believe the whole tale was concocted to stir interest or for financial gain. Yet, believers counter with compelling points. The stone's inscriptions, if genuine, represent a form of writing unlike any known script, and the magnetic properties reported by Soviet researchers defy easy explanation. Could there be a hidden truth buried beneath layers of doubt and skepticism? In the 21st century, advancements in technology have renewed hopes of uncovering definitive answers. High-resolution imaging, spectral analysis, and digital archaeology offer tools that might finally decode the symbols and reveal their origin. Yet access to the stones, if they still exist, remains elusive. The Dropa Stones remain a tantalizing mystery, caught between scientific scrutiny and speculative wonder. Are they relics of a forgotten alien visitation, ancient records left by cosmic travelers, or merely an elaborate hoax? As new generations of explorers and scientists turn their gaze toward Tibet's shadowed caves, the question endures: what secrets do the forbidden stones hold, and will we ever unravel their message? The legend of the Dropa Stones lingers in the collective imagination, like a whispered secret carried by the Tibetan winds. Whether truth or fiction, this tale invites us to ponder the boundaries of history, science, and the unknown. What legacy do these enigmatic discs leave behind? For some, they symbolize a lost chapter of human history, a time when otherworldly visitors may have left their mark on Earth, weaving stories into stone that defy our understanding. For others, the Dropa Stones are a cautionary reminder of how myths can entwine with fact, blurring lines and challenging our search for truth. The questions persist, echoing through time like an unanswered call. Were the Dropa Stones truly artifacts left by alien travelers who crash-landed in the rugged mountains of Tibet? Or are they the product of misinterpretation, a fascinating yet ultimately unfounded myth that grew from human curiosity and imagination? If real, what secrets do the mysterious inscriptions hold? Could they reveal knowledge lost to antiquity about the cosmos, life, or perhaps the very origins of humanity? And if the stones are a hoax, what drove their creation? Desire for fame, a test of belief, or simply the human love for a compelling story? In the end, the Dropa Stones challenge us not only to seek answers, but to embrace the mystery itself. They remind us that history is often layered with shadows and light, where fact and legend dance together in an eternal waltz. Perhaps the greatest truth is this: in the vastness of the unknown, there is wonder, and the courage to ask questions that may never be fully answered. The forbidden stones of Tibet invite us to step beyond what is known, to wonder if the stars once touched the earth, leaving behind silent witnesses carved in stone. The story remains open, waiting for new eyes, new minds, and perhaps one day, new discoveries to reveal what lies beneath the ancient dust.